I seem to be having a problem with YouTube. Okay, YouTube is working. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to Options with Doug. Streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. As a reminder, the focus of my presentation and the Options with Doug chat channel in Discord is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis, and I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to help develop a thesis regarding expected volatility and trading range for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is real-time order flow. I look at real-time order flow execution, and I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and that's very important. You can plan all you want, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And again, I watch Bookmap and Hero to confirm my thesis. And I think this process, two-step process, provides a significant edge in trading. Other traders use technical analysis and fundamental analysis. I think this is a new way of looking in the market that again provides significant edge. And questions and comments are welcome. And I will be watching Discord, the Discord chat channel, for questions and comments, as well as the YouTube chat channel. And I posted this earlier in Discord. YouTube, if you guys have any stocks that you want me to take a look at, please post them. And I will. I've gotten a few in Discord, and I will. I'll try to get to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, what I want to talk about today. First of all, news. Go over economic data that came out this morning and upcoming economic data events and earnings. Then go through our positional analysis, and then talk about setups today. Okay, first, news items. And there were a couple of economic events that came out this morning, and I'm not sure. The market, S&P 500, the market jumped around 8:30, and I saw this and the Canadian GDP. I don't know what caused the market to jump higher at 8:30. It could be this. I can't imagine it's the Canadian GDP that came in as expected. So if this is the U.S. employment cost. Came in a little bit lower than expected. Maybe the market interpreted that as bullish. And this was at 10 a.m. This consumer confidence came in a little bit lower than expected. And the U.S. one-year consumer inflation rate a little better than expected. So that was that's what was out today. And then tomorrow kind of starts the big events. So first of all, tomorrow morning there's PMI, and then the big event of the week is the FOMC meeting, and that the announcement is 2 p.m. and that'll be during my session. And then the okay, so Paul says was employment wages. Okay, thank you, Paul. All right, so tomorrow FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. during my session, and then the excuse me, then the press conference starts at 2:30 p.m. as I'm wrapping up my session. And then on Friday, there's the employment situation report that comes out on the first Friday of the month at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then finally, earnings this week. So AMD reports after the close today, and then tomorrow Meta reports after the close, and then Thursday's the big day with Apple, Amazon, and Google all reporting after the close. So today, this week is a very big week for earnings. Okay, now let's take a look at some charts. Okay, there's a question in Discord. Are options traders supporting the market at the moment? And we'll take a look at a hero in just a minute. During this morning, they were not. The S&P 500 was rallying as traders were taking negative delta positions, and that has been going on for most of the day, and we'll see if that has changed. So let's start with levels, and I'm going to take a bigger picture view, and this is the SPX. This is a 1-hour chart, and this shows the Spotgamma levels and the put wall at 3,800 down way below, down here, and the call wall at 4,800, and then 4,000 is the absolute gamma strike. And then this is showing the other levels in between. So the volatility trigger has been in play this morning, and the volatility trigger is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level, where gamma flips from negative below to positive above. That's the market maker's gamma notional position, and the zero gamma, and now this combo L4 level. So that is the bigger picture view at a 1-hour chart. And now let's take a look at an SPX chart, and that's Thinkorswim. And this is a 1-minute chart for SPX for today, showing the volatility trigger, showing the levels that are in play today. Volatility trigger acting as support, a pause and a retest of the zero gamma level, and then prices moved up and found resistance at this level, and this was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note, this 40-50 level, this combo L1 or combo L4 and an L1 level. So that was the big picture, and then the levels that are in play for today. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap now. And this is the S&P 500 chart. And this is showing. So first of all, what I'm showing in these columns, this is the Spotgamma cloud notes. These are notes that are provided to Spotgamma subscribers that are updated automatically and displayed in this cloud, these cloud notes, and they're showing primarily here showing SPX levels. So that's that L1 level that is currently acting as resistance, and that's SPX 4050 adjusted to an equivalent ES price. And right now, Spotgamma is using a 15-point difference, which is pretty close. This is that 0 gamma level, and then there's the volatility trigger level. That again, the volatility, the gamma flip level. So those are the Spotgamma cloud notes. All those levels are in play, and also I have a column of notes. This cloud levels, these are my cloud notes, and what I'm showing are key SPY levels. So there it is, the SPY key gamma strike at 400, and I'm also showing the support and resistance levels that were noted in the AM Founders note. So there's the support level that was in play today, and then now the resistance level is in play at SPX 4050. And also I'm showing big round numbers in ES. So today, this support level at 4020, and that's converted up to 4035 in ES. So SPX 4020 acted as support, and price has rallied, chopped around, I guess lunchtime chop around the 0 gamma level, and is now testing the 4050 resistance level. So this, to me, this was not quite as clear as yesterday, and not supported by options trades, at least in the morning. So there's the S&P 500. And one thing to note here, what I'm showing in the subchart, I have 3 different lines, and this yellow line is showing stop orders. So these are buy stops. And this is showing this is in sum mode or cumulative mode, showing the total number of buy stop orders at almost 8,000 during the session that I have had this open. So typically this is a very good indication of a price direction, and as long as this yellow line is rising, it's typically very difficult for the ES to drop. And the other lines are the light blue line. These are iceberg orders, and these are what large traders use to hide their size. And this is pretty typical too. They're they're selling strength and buy weakness. And then finally, the dark blue line is cumulative volume delta, and that's showing aggressive buy orders and sell orders, market buy orders, market sell orders. So that's kind of up and down. So it looks like this rally is in large part driven by stop orders. At least that's what Bookmap is showing to me. Okay, shifts in levels, very minimal today. And there were slight shifts in the volatility trigger, SPX up 5 points and SPY down 1 point. And no big deal. So again, very minimal shifts in levels in the S&P 500. And for the QQQ, the volatility trigger dropped 3 points, and the key gamma strike did drop down from 300 to 290. All right, let's take a look at the gamma levels. First for the S&P 500, and here at, there's the put wall down at 3,800. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma and can typically be expected to act as support. And then there's the 4,000 level. That is the absolute gamma strike, or the key gamma strike, and that's the strike with the largest absolute gamma. And then 4,100 remains the call wall, and that's the strike with the largest positive net positive gamma and can be expected to act as resistance. So that's SPX, SPY, and for SPY, there's the 390 put wall, the largest net negative gamma, and now the key gamma strike is at 400, the strike with the largest absolute gamma, and there's the 400 call wall, strike with the largest net positive gamma. And one thing to notice here is the build and put positions here from 390 to 400. And I guess traders are positioning themselves ahead of the FOMC tomorrow and the employment report on Friday. And we'll see that when we look at the numbers. There was a shift pretty significant lower in market maker gamma notional. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ now. We'll take a look at QQQ. So these are the absolute gamma levels for QQQ. And I think I forgot to mention that what we're looking at here, this is the zero line. And above the line, the black lines are call gamma or positive gamma. And below the line, the teal lines are negative gamma or put gamma. So for QQQ, here's the put wall at 280. And there's the absolute gamma strike or key gamma strike at 290. And then 300 is the call wall. And it looks like there has been a build of put positions as well. Okay, let's take a look at the data now. We'll take a look at gamma notional. And this is showing gamma notional. This is market makers' position on the gamma curve. And it is shifted to negative for SPX, slightly negative. Yesterday, gamma notional for SPX was positive 384, so now it has shifted to minus 101. And for SPY yesterday, market maker gamma notional was minus 250, and today it's minus 1137. So pretty significant shift to more negative for SPY. And then yesterday, gamma notional for QQQ was totally neutral at 0, and now it has shifted to minus 275. And that is indicative of traders building put positions, as we saw in the absolute gamma charts. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna models now. This is a visual illustration of what I was just talking about. So this is SPX, and this is showing how market makers' delta exposure changes with changes in price. And delta notional is on the vertical axis, and price change strike is shown on the horizontal axis. And then the green line is showing how This is for the current expiration, showing how market makers delta exposure, delta notional, changes with changes in price and implied volatility. And that's the Vanna effect, the change of delta with the change in implied volatility. And the black line is showing delta notional at the next expiration. So that's showing their delta notional as time passes. And that's the charm effect, the change in delta as time passes. And let's take a look and see how that has changed over the last couple days. So there's the positive gamma notional yesterday for SPX. And now we can see the gradual shift to negative. That's for SPX. Let's take a look at SPY. So the same thing, gradual shift to more negative. And then finally for QQQ. Again, as traders appear to be positioning themselves with puts before the events and economic data for the rest of the week. And then finally, and again, I'm still going through my planning process here. And the last thing that I want to take a look at is my key gamma strike list. These are all the stocks in my watch list. And I track the key gamma strike every day, and also compare that with the previous gamma strike, the key gamma strike from the previous day, and I color code the current day based on whether that key gamma strike increased, that would be green, or red, indicating that it decreased. So here, this is showing quite a few drops in key gamma strikes. And I interpret that as bullish, or bearish, I'm sorry. Traders are anticipating and accepting lower prices and positioning themselves in the options market. Okay, so based on this, for the S&P 500, again, gamma notional became more negative. That is indicating that traders are adding puts, market makers are selling puts, and as price decreases, as we saw in the Vanna model, that traders will, market makers will have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure as price drops, and they can buy back those futures as price increases and their delta exposure drops. So that's indicative of a higher volatility environment. As market maker gamma notional becomes more negative, you can expect a wider trading range and higher volatility. So that was my expectation for today. And for the S&P 500 itself, there was not that really with those no significant shifts in levels. My directional bias was neutral. I had no directional bias for the S&P 500, and for these stocks, yes. But again, I always confirm my thesis, as I said in the introduction, with real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Hero. So with that, let's get started. And there's a question RT asked, and I think I made a mistake there. So let's just confirm that. Let's go to Equity Hub, and it's 350. So I did make a mistake there. So thanks, good catch. Yes, key gamma strike for Netflix is 350, not 250. So typo on my part there. All right, so Before I get started with setups, there were some questions in Discord that I want to address. And first of all, there's a question about how do I get the equivalent levels between SPX, SPY, and ES. And there are a couple of ways of doing that. And first of all, there's a quick and dirty way of doing that. And this is just a watch list in Thinkorswim. And let's say I want to get the equivalent level in SPY and ES. So I can just watch this. And this is, again, the quick and dirty way. And when I see ES get to a round number, something that's easy to punch into my calculator, I'll quickly glance down at SPY, and I'll do that 3 or 4 times, come up with an average. And the same for SPX and SPY. So there was 40.69. Then I'll quickly jump down and look at SPY. So that's the quick and dirty way. And then I think probably a more exact way is to compare 2 charts. And I'm only showing one screen here, so I can only show one screen at a time. So let's say I have SPY on one screen and ES on another screen. And what I will do is compare. I'll take a couple of high and low, maybe 3 or 4 high and low points at various times during the day. So I'll look at that. Let's say look at that. And then I'm looking at this exact, this is a 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart. And I'm looking at the exact same chart for ES on another screen and comparing the highs and lows at exactly the same minute in time. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times, come up with an average, and there's my ratio between SPY and ES, or SPY and SPX, or whatever I want to compare. And one thing to note is that difference tends to slowly decrease, so it will increase with every rollover, every monthly rollover. It will increase and then slowly decreases down towards 10.0 as time goes on. I don't know why that happens, but that's the way it works. So Karma Trades, I hope that answered your question. So 2 ways of doing that. You know, it's not perfect. It changes a little bit every day. But that's how I do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But it's close enough. Okay, and then Trader HE asks, can you cover it today? Today, if you lost any parts of your process, what would be the most valuable insight? So I'm kind of interpreting that as what's essential. What can't I do without? So what's essential for me? All right. And JC is answering the question because the future price at rollover is varied to the present price. As present gets close to expiration, the variance between SPY and SPX and ES gets more narrow. So a more exact way is to calculate based on the RTH close and settlement for ES daily, and then it changes a little bit the next day. So I want to get a more exact number for what is happening today. So that's why I'm looking at the 1 minute charts for today. And again, I'm not looking for an exact number, just something that's close enough so I can draw lines on my charts. Okay, and thanks for that. So again, Trader HE asked today, if you lost any parts of your process, what would be the most valuable insight? So again, I'm assuming you're asking what is essential, what can I do without? And okay, so first of all, the levels on my chart are essential for the way that I trade and what I look at. And then the second part, so really I would say that if that was the only part of the planning process that I had, I could not give that up. And Bruce does his presentation in the morning. He has no levels on his chart, and I just can't. It looks like maybe it's my engineering background, I don't know, but I like to look at some levels on a chart to give me some frame of reference. And I've shown over time that how important the SPY and SPX levels are for ES. The gamma levels, the round number levels. So first of all, I could not give it the levels. The second is Bookmap, watching order flow on Bookmap. And then Hero is also an essential part of my process. Former engineer, yeah, I'm a trader now, trader and educator now. JEC was asking, Doug is in engineering. Yes, my career was in engineering. Okay, so hopefully Trader HE, I hope that answered your question. So what we're looking at now, everything on this chart with the addition of Hero is essential to my process. Okay, and there's a question in YouTube. If you could only trade ES or Tesla, which would behave more true to Hero for increased odds of success? And seems like ES can do the opposite of Hero so many times. So first of all, those are two of my favorite instruments to trade, and they do trade differently. Hero is definitely different for Tesla and ES. And for Tesla, it's often a direct confirmation. Hero's a direct confirmation. There's an occasional divergence in Tesla and Hero, but typically this is showing how options traders are trading. Market makers in Tesla typically will hedge their delta exposure right away in Tesla. So there's a strong confirmation between price action and Hero and Tesla. And then for the S&P 500, SPY, and ES, divergences often happen. And that's one reason that I like to trade ES, SPY, SPX, trade that any number of ways. ES, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, because of the divergences, it gives you time to plan a setup. So with the levels on my chart, that I have strong confidence that these levels are important and price may react at those levels. And when I see Hero diverging from price action, then I would look at my Bookmap chart for a potential level for a divergence. And that's what I was looking for today, and it didn't happen, at least in the morning. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at some setups today. And I'm going to go take a look at Hero now. So this is the S&P 500, futures, ES, and this is showing a combined signal of SPX and SPY. So this is combining SPX and SPY options trades into one signal that's shown for ES here. So let's expand the chart. And this is interesting. It looks like there's been an update to Hero now that this expanded chart is taking taking up the whole screen. So this is what I was looking at this morning. Falling Hero, and I expected the ES, SPX, SPY to roll over at one of those levels above, and that didn't happen this morning. And again, recall that when we looked at the ES, the S&P 500 futures, that stop orders seemed to be fueling this rally higher. That rising yellow line, buy stop orders. So let's take a closer look and see what traders were doing here. We can separate out puts and calls, and it looks like traders are buying puts. Now I'm looking at the total cumulative Hero signal for the entire day. That's this 1 day rolling window, and we'll take a quick look at 30 minutes, see if that provides any insight. And we can see now that traders are buying calls and selling puts. I'm just going to shift back to the 1 day. So they're buying puts and buying calls, but this number, and this is in dollar terms for puts, 1.8 billion versus 418 billion is a lot stronger for puts. So net for the day, the Hero signal is negative, showing traders are taking negative delta positions. Again, they appear to be positioning themselves for the FOMC. So there's the ES. Let's go back and take a look. Well, we'll take a look at SPY and then take a look at same thing for SPY. And there's the total number, which I think is probably pretty close to the total number for ES. Yeah. I don't know if everybody can see that 1.4 billion negative delta for ES. $1.5 for SPY. All right, so let's go take a look at Bookmap again. So ES continues to rally. Take a look at SPY. So what I was expecting was, with Hero dropping down like that, certainly this level here, the 403 volatility trigger, that's the SPY 403 volatility trigger, or the SPX 0 gamma level would act as resistance and price would drop. But the buy stop orders continue to rise and never confirmed a down move. So that's why it's important to watch order flow as well as hedging flow. So let's take a look at SPY now. And there's the reversal higher. And remember, we saw that was at the, I believe that was at the 40-20 support level, close to the SPY 401. And SPY continues to move higher. So that's the S&P 500. Then I had some other setups. And the semiconductors were strong today. First, there's AMD with a reversal at the 73 hedge wall. Let's take a look at Hero. Let's go to AMD. Full screen, and notice the nice divergence higher. So this looks like a kind of a series of large block orders. Traders buying calls, buying a lot of calls there. And price responds higher a few minutes later. So that's a divergent setup. And again, price continues down as traders are buying calls. Let's go take a look at Bookmap again. And reverses higher around the 73 hedge wall. So a trend break, a couple of tests of the 73 hedge wall, and heading towards the liquidity target at 75. And it looks like absorption at that level. And I think if options traders continue to push it higher, they may be able to get to 75. So that's AMD. And right, Paul says AMD earnings after the market. So traders apparently are positioning themselves bullishly before with bullish positions before the earnings. All right, the next was Microsoft. Let's go take a look at Hero. So remember the divergence setup here for AMD. So that's one type of setup. And then here's another. This is confirmation setup. Hero continues to rise. Let's see what traders are doing. As traders buy calls and price continues to rise, they're buying calls and selling puts. Okay, great. Carmo Trades had answered my question. Great. You're welcome. Okay, so Microsoft, let's go take a look at Bookmap again. Nice steady uptrend. First price target at the 246 liquidity level. Actually 245, 246, and 247. Next target above is 248. So again, AMD, divergent setup, and Microsoft confirmation setup. Hero rising, traders are buying calls, selling puts, and price continues to rise, hitting one liquidity target after another. All right, the next was NVIDIA. And this is great setup this morning with the 190 put wall in play. And remember, yesterday Nvidia was down as it looked like traders were taking profits, and it had been up. It was so strong this year. I think I pointed out that Nvidia, as of yesterday, was up maybe 35% year to date. So 35% in January. All right, so let's go take a look at Hero now. So again, there's the reversal at the 190 put wall. There's Nvidia. So it looks like calls are primarily driving here. So traders started buying calls as price reached that 190 put wall, and then price reversed higher. So more here, another confirmation setup. And for me at least, the 190 put wall gives me added confidence that that level should act as support. So there's the reversal. I'm going to zoom in on this just a little bit. And notice the buy sweep here, those small green dots, and a lot of the larger green dots, the market buy orders coming in at the 190 put wall level as traders started buying calls and selling puts, all driving price higher from 190 up to the first liquidity target at 195. So very nice long setup there in Nvidia. All right, let's take a quick look now at QQQ. And let's go take a look at Hero. So in the morning there was a pretty strong confirmation for the up move here. Here. Now it looks like traders are starting to take negative delta positions. Let's see what they're doing. So in the morning they were both buying calls, and that was pretty steady. And they started selling puts. And now they're selling calls and buying puts. So kind of getting in line with what the S&P 500 is doing. And once that happened, price stalled, not making a lot of upward progress. All right, great. We've got more engineers in here. Great, fantastic. Yeah, this as an engineer, this is what makes sense to me. So that's QQQ. Let's go back and take a look at Bookmap. And remember the strong hero in the morning, and then it has leveled off or actually decreased, and prices chopping around between the 295 combo 5 level and 293. Let's take a look at Tesla, and then there were some requests for additional stocks, and we'll take a look at those. So Tesla, strong rally in the morning. Let's go take a look at Hero. In Tesla, there was really a bit of divergence here. Hero dropping, and it really didn't start to increase until right at 10:30, and price was already rising but continued to rise at that time. So not a strong, not a clear signal up until about 10:30. And let's just see what traders were doing. So this helps a little bit to separate out calls and puts, showing that traders started buying calls as price was rising, and price continued to rise. Let's go take a look at Bookmap again. So that's why I have this 10:30 area. I've drawn a rectangle around 10:30, showing with my approach that would be the entry point. I always like to see a confirmation. I want to be trading in the direction of the market makers and have that confirmation. So absorption of that liquidity there, and price moves up from 169 to 173 and higher. Okay, and got a question in YouTube, then we'll take a look at a couple of charts that were requested. All right, so RT says, logistically, to catch these moves, you must have multiple Hero and Bookmap charts open correct. And how many screens and charts do you have open to catch these moves that happen in the first 30 minutes? So what I have two computers, and my first computer is a PC, and I have two charts, two screens there, and I have Bookmap on one. And if I'm trading the S&P 500, which is typically my preference, I'll have ES open on one chart and SPY open on another, so I'm seeing both levels. And then on my other screen, on my other computer, I'll have Hero open. So that's for the S&P 500. And if I'm just trading, not trading S&P 500, trading another stock, then I will I'll just have Hero on PC, on my one screen on my PC, and Bookmap on the other, and maybe an occasional look at a candlestick chart on another computer or on another screen. But the with Hero, I can quickly scan. First of all, I can look at the Hero signal, and I post that typically every day. Often or generally ranked by the strongest to the weakest, or the weakest to the strongest. And depending on my bias for the day, I will either start with the strongest or the weakest. So strongest if my bias is bullish, and weakest if my bias is bearish. And sometimes I miss the best moves. If I'm focused on the S&P 500 today, then I might miss the move in NVIDIA. But what it boils down to, the stocks that I trade the most often are the S&P 500. The instruments that I trade the most are the S&P 500, QQQ, NVIDIA, and Tesla, and occasionally Microsoft. But it's boiling down. Although I have 10 stocks open here and 2 futures, I'm generally looking at 4 instruments. So that's not hard. Okay, so now there was a request to look at a couple of other stocks. So I'm going to share my screen, and those are on my other computer. All right, the first was Roku. So here's Roku and Bookmap. Nice strong uptrend today. Let's take a look at Hero. So I'm going to shift Hero from my watch list to the entire list of stocks. So there's a very strong correlation between options trades, market maker hedging activity, and price action in Roku. Looks like mainly calls driving. So traders have been buying calls, except for one block order here. Looks like traders were selling calls as price approached the 57.50 level, and then they resumed buying calls. Buying calls drives price up, and there's the block order, and then they continue to buy calls, and price rises, and now it looks like price has stalled as traders started selling calls. Okay, so Carmo Trades requested Roku. Hopefully that helped. So again, very strong confirmation, correlation between options trades, hedging activity, and price action, and a strong rally in Roku today. And I think there was also a request for Snowflake. Let me just make sure. Yes. Okay, so there was a request for Snowflake. And there's typically a pretty strong correlation between price action and market maker hedging activity and Snowflake. So let's go take a look at Snowflake. Let's see what traders were doing. So they've been selling calls today, and they started selling puts. As price was rising. And it It looks like the only gamma level in play is the 150 key gamma strike that's down below. So this is not as clear as some of the other charts that we've looked at. But a possible entry at, again, if you're waiting for a hero confirmation, let's say just before 1050 here, this pullback. And with the absorption there at the 154 level. Which also looks like just around the opening print. And you can tell that with the, typically for a lot of stocks, the point of control will remain at the opening print. The volume is so large until the end of the day and the closing print. Okay, I'm going to check for any final questions here. Oops. Go back to Chrome. Bookmap. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Okay, so JEC asks SPY. So we're in here in Bookmap. We'll take a look at SPY, and then take a look at Hero. Let's go back to SPY. Go back to my watch list. Okay, so here's SPY. And still for the day, the cumulative position is still definitely negative delta. And as price continues to rise. Let's just go back to Bookmap and take a quick look. There's SPY again. Price continues. Oops, I have that as 403. That should be 405 there. Another typo. Let's take a look at ES, S&P 500 futures. Rising yellow line. Buy stop orders continue. And there's a question in Discord. What is my thoughts on the SPY chart? So options traders, with the big events coming up, sometimes SPY can be a little bit difficult to interpret. So traders appear to be positioning themselves ahead of the event. So again, I was looking for a reversal lower this morning, and it never happened. So that was my thesis, and it just never price action never confirmed a reversal lower at the levels I was looking. So right now the S&P 500 continues above or is trading above the resistance level at the SPX 4050 level. So let's take a look at Hero again for SPY. I don't know what's happened here. I'm having a problem with Hero. So I don't know what's going on with Hero here. Let me try and refresh. Okay, so anyway, I'm reading through the discussion in Discord, and the assumption is that market makers at the beginning of the day, most of the data that we have from Spotgamma, other than Hero, is at the beginning of the day, and the assumption is that market makers are delta neutral at the beginning of the day, and they will, based on gamma notional, as we saw, they will have to hedge to, again, they will buy and sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And for the S&P 500, there are a lot of drivers of price action. I showed that buy stop orders seem to be driving price higher. And JEC notes drop in volume, that's to be expected today. Given the big event tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm having a problem with Hero here. I'm not sure why it's not showing. So anyway, I want to thank you for your questions and comments. And thanks for watching. Again, thanks for your questions, comments, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.